If you instantly recognize this packaging, this video is for you. Remember how excited you were to get your first Clinique bonus, or walking up to the Chanel counter felt like peak luxury? Well, today I'm doing a full face of the iconic makeup brands we all obsessed over in the 80s and 90s. I'll be using products from Clinique, Estee Lauder, Lancôme, Chanel, Dior, a lot of brands I honestly couldn't afford until I started working as a makeup artist in 1996. Makeup artist Francois Nars launched his Nars Cosmetics line in 1994. And I immediately knew when I started doing makeup that I eventually wanted to work for Nars. And I did. I was a freelancer for Nars in the late 90s, and that is when my obsession with his products started. I believe Nars was one of the first brands to bring out an eyeshadow primer. And this was an absolute game changer in the industry, and especially for those of us with oily skin. When I would work behind a makeup counter, I would have to take off my eyeshadow and reapply my eyeshadow halfway through my shift because my eyelids were so oily and the eye makeup just disappeared. There was no eyeshadow with built-in primer back then. My eyeshadow truly looked like a mess after several hours. So how are you supposed to sell makeup when your makeup doesn't look very good? So yeah, that is what I would do until eyeshadow primers entered the chat. And I used this product for years and years religiously until my eyelids got a little bit less oily and I was able to just use concealer as my eyeshadow primer. I'm going to start with my eyes today, which is something I've been doing for the past year or so. Prior to that, I always did my complexion products first, but now I feel like getting the eyeshadow done and out of the way makes my entire makeup application go much quicker. And as I've gotten older and my eyes have become more hooded, I find that I'm wearing less eyeshadow in general, or let's just say my eye looks aren't that complicated anymore. Not that they were ever really complicated, but I think you know what I mean. Today I'm going to use this Dior eyeshadow palette. It is called Mitsa. And the way I used to covet Dior products when I was in my 20s, and I just simply could not afford them whatsoever. But when I started working in the beauty industry and was able to get a discount, there was no holding me back. So today, I think I'm going to try something a little different. Well, not different for me, but something I haven't done in a while. And that is a halo eye. I love a halo eye on a hooded eye because I do feel like it's very flattering, especially if the hood of your eye is heavy in the inner corner and the outer corner, because dark shades are going to make the hood look less prominent. And then adding a little bit of shimmer to the center of the lid, or a little bit of a lighter shade to the center, really gives the eye a pop and something that people can see when you're looking down or when your eyes are closed. So I'm going to start with this BK Beauty brush number 207, and I'm going to go into the darkest shade. Yes, the darkest shade. I know some people still use these little, actually mine are gone, those little sponge applicators that a lot of us used to use. That's what's missing from here. I have no idea where they are. And I am going to just pack that on the outer corner. Oh my goodness, I have forgotten how buttery Dior shadows are. Wow. Another thing I like about doing my eyes first is that I can be super messy and I don't have to worry about any fallout in this area, messing up my concealer. Wow, that is some serious pigment. Like I said, I have not used this in a long time. Now, I'm certain this is not the same formula from the 90s, but I don't think I'd want to be using a palette from the 80s or 90s right now. So now I'm taking another brush and just blending out. This one is Formless by Jenny. I don't know, it's just one that I grabbed. I think this is Jenny McCarthy's makeup line, makeup brand. It was sent to me. This is the BK Beauty A502. This one felt a little bit rough. I know this one is softer, so yeah, oh yeah. So we're going to continue to blend that out. Don't worry if it looks a mess. This lighting really shows me where I have hairs to tweeze. Okay, I might need to use a bigger fluffy brush because this is like really sticking, really pigmented. That eyeshadow base really works. This is the A503, a little bit bigger than this one. Brushes, that's something that was not around or not popular like it is today. I don't know any makeup artist or any makeup lover that doesn't have way more brushes than they could ever need. I'm gonna blend this out even more once I clean up my brow. But now we're gonna move into a shimmer. And I think I'm going to use this shade in the upper right corner. And I'm just gonna pick that up with my finger and pat that on. Oh, that's so pretty. It's like a soft gold. Oh, I love that. So pretty. And I'm bringing that up into my crease, or where my crease would be if I actually had one. And then I'm going to be using this shade in my tear duct a little later. But for now, I think I'm going to add just a little bit more depth to the outer corners with this burgundy shade that's in the middle. Just pack that right on the outer corners and in the inner corners. And I'm blending that out. Just to save some time, I've gone ahead and done the same thing on the other eye. Now it's time to do a little cleanup. I'm using a pointed Q-tip and some eye makeup remover. I really love these shades against my blue eyes. I think it makes them really stand out. And while the makeup remover is drying a bit, I'm going to go grab my tweezers and get rid of some of those hairs. I want to do some eyeliner. This is a Rephr 29. And I'm going to spray it with a little MAC Fix Plus. And I'm going to go into the dark brown again and just line right at the base of my lashes, really close to the lash line. And I'm making a very, very slight baby wing right at the end, at the outer corner. This brush is amazing for this step. It's so tiny, which makes it so precise, and you can get right up to the base of those lashes. Now for mascara, I am using Clinique's High Impact Waterproof Mascara. I used to really like Clinique mascaras and Lancôme mascaras. Those are pretty much the go-to brands for mascara during that time period, especially Lancôme. Oh my goodness, Definicils. I cannot tell you how many Lancôme Definicils mascaras that I have sold over the years. And then Hypnose, and then Hypnose Drama. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have gone and purchased myself a Definicils just for this video. But Clinique did send over a couple of their products earlier in the month, and well, last month. And honestly, that is what inspired me to do this video. I had not purchased or tried a Clinique product in a long time, and I'm really enjoying the products that they sent. I have not used this yet, but I remember really liking the high impact formula. Maybe not in the 80s and 90s, but whenever it launched, which I'm really not sure of when it did, but I remember liking it. And yeah, it's really nice. It's not gloppy at all. It's giving really nice separation and length. Got to do another coat. It's not like bam, like I wouldn't say high impact, but that was just one coat. Let's try another. I like to go to the base of my lashes and wiggle, sometimes roll up. It's nice. I like it. No clumps. Lots of length and separation. Okay. Not bad. My current favorite mascara is from MAC. It is the MAC Stack Elevated, not the regular MAC Stack, the elevated version. I'm not gonna put anything underneath my eyes just yet. No mascara, no shadow, but I probably will once everything is completed. All right, up next is sort of a controversial product. I had been wearing Estee Lauder Double Wear for years. I, along with many others, were very upset that they were changing the formula. I tested the new formula as soon as it launched. I did not like it. I made a video reviewing it. Then I made a follow-up video sharing my recommendations for a double wear alternative if you are someone who did not like the new formula. Since then, I have watched numerous videos from people who are loving the new formula. And of course, I've gotten a ton of feedback on my original video reviewing the product. A lot of people are like me, very unhappy that they changed the formula in such a drastic way. Other people saying that they absolutely love it. They couldn't wear double wear before and now they can, and it's amazing. The people that I've noticed who are loving the new formula are those who did not like the original and are enjoying the lighter formula, that it's not as matte as it was, but those of us who are oily are mourning the loss of those things. We loved the coverage. We love the longevity. I never found it to be extremely oil controlling, but it did help. So what I'm getting at is that I started seeing videos like this, and I'll play one or two for you.
If you're pissed about the new Estee Lauder Double Wear formula because it looks like this and not like this, it's probably because you're not applying it the right way. First of all, the new Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation is not as dry as the original formula, so you can't just go apply all that skin prep like you're normally used to. Too much skin prep can leave the foundation feeling sticky and wet, and nobody wants that. So using less skin prep will actually help the new formula do its thing.
Estee Lauder reformulated Double Wear. Let me show you 3 different ways to wear it. It has 36-hour oil control and then locks in our skin's moisture for 72 hours. So we've built up that coverage. And you see what I mean about it being a lightweight formula? It doesn't have that flat matte finish. There's life to it. It looks like my skin.
But if you notice, both of those, as well as many other videos I've seen that are positive reviews, are all sponsored by Estee Lauder. Now, I am someone who, if I don't like a product, no matter what they offer me as payment, I'm not going to promote it. I am 1000% not saying that that is the case for these creators. They probably do love it. I hope they do love it as much as they say. But I'm a consumer as well. And I completely understand skepticism of influencers. I do sponsored videos and posts a lot. And I hope that over the years, I've earned your trust to the point where you know that if I'm going to recommend a product, it's because I really, really love it. And all I'm saying is that I do want to give these creators the benefit of the doubt and assume that they really do love it. So it got me thinking that maybe I should get another sample and try it again, because it's not just influencers that are saying that they love the new formula. A lot of you have asked me to try it again and have said, this is how I'm applying it. I've gotten it to work better. The 3rd or 4th time I tried it, I really liked it. So I don't think you should have to try a product 7, 8, 9 times to fall in love with it or to get it to work, but I'm willing to give it one more go, especially for this video, since we're talking about iconic products, iconic brands. Estee Lauder Double Wear is definitely one of those iconic products. Something that one of those influencers said about the application is that you don't want to do as much skin prep as you would have thought to do when applying the original Double Wear, because it was so matte and it was so quick drying. So now he's saying that you should limit the amount of products you use for skin prep. So I currently have nothing on my face right now. And to prep, I'm going to use an iconic Clarins product. This is their double serum. This was just sent to me in a PR package. I'm fairly certain that I had tried it in the past. I mean, it's iconic as well. It's been out for a really, really long time. And being in the beauty industry, ooh, this smells so good. This is not the first time I'm using it. I've been using it for about 3 days now, but I'm just noticing how good it smells. Where was I going with this? Oh, so many people use and love this product. It just gets raved about. The reviews are great. So like I said, I think I've tried it in the past. I just, being in the beauty industry for 30 years now, I have tried so many things. And, I test new products for potential sponsorships because with skincare, I've got to try things at least 30 days before I'll review them. And then they also sent over the Total Eye Lift. So I'm going to use a little bit of this as well. around my eyes. And then in that Clinique PR package I mentioned, they sent over the, where did it go? This Moisture Surge 100-hour moisturizer. And I've been testing that for several weeks. And that is really, really nice, especially under makeup. So after letting the serum sink in for a minute, I'm going to pick up some of the moisturizer and apply that before we go in with the Double Wear again for the third try. No, this might be the fourth try. I think before I did that review video, I tried it at least 3 times. So maybe this is I've lost count. But yeah, I definitely tried it with a primer, without a primer, with a brush, with a sponge. And the method I'm seeing the majority of the people who love it do is apply it with a brush in thin layers. So I did go to Lake Havasu last weekend, Memorial Day weekend, and got a little color on my body. Even though I do wear SPF 50, of course, I still got some color. So my body is definitely darker than my face. So I asked for shade 3N1, which I believe is tawny. And I'm going to use a densely packed flat top foundation brush. I'm going to do a couple of dots like so. And then something I saw, an application tip I saw, was to not work fast. Remember with the old Double Wear, you did have to move pretty fast because it dried so quickly. So I've been told that with this formula, you just really need to take your time and do very light pats. I do have to bring it down my neck because my neck is also lighter than my body. All right, so let's take a look here. It looks nice. It's definitely not matte like the old version, but it does look natural. Okay, with, without. And by the way, I am going to do an end of the day check-in for this foundation. I'm just so used to working fast. I've got to slow down. Something else I noticed with the new formula is that it doesn't have, in my opinion, as much coverage as the original. So I would definitely say that still holds true. But I am going to try adding another layer. I don't remember if I did this or not in my initial test, but let's see. I'm gonna add a few more dots and see if this is buildable. Oh, yes it is, definitely. Oh my goodness. I don't recall getting this much coverage last time. Huh. My little sample is leaking. Slow taps, slow taps. All right, I'm not gonna lie. This is looking good. All right, we shall see how it holds up throughout the day, if it's any different than any of the other times I tested it. All right, concealer, Lancôme. This is the Tanti Dole Ultra Wear, and back in the day, pre-brushes, we would always just pat our concealer out with our fingers. And I was always taught that this is the best way because the warmth from our fingers really works the product into the skin and makes it look more seamless. This is such a pretty concealer. I don't think it gets talked about much because there are so many others out there now that are excellent. I mean, let's face it, there are so many more brands now than there was back in the 90s and the 80s, especially the 80s. In the 90s, though, that is when all of the makeup artist brands launched, like Bobbi Brown, Laura Mercier, NARS. And now, it seems every popular makeup artist has their own brand. But we are now going to set the face with the one and only Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. Laura Mercier was the first brand I ever worked with. My first job in cosmetics was as the counter manager and makeup artist for Laura Mercier at Rich's department store in Atlanta, Georgia. This was everyone's favorite setting powder. No matter if they had dry, oily, mature, young, it didn't matter. This was part of Laura Mercier's flawless face system of primer, foundation, secret camouflage, and the powder, and a puff. It also did not matter what your skin type was. Laura wanted us all to use a puff. So I'm going to use a puff. I don't have a Laura Mercier puff, I have a Morphe puff here, so we're just gonna use that. I'm gonna pick up some of the powder, tap it off on the back of my hand, and then set. The difference that powder makes, especially when you have large pores, is just incredible. And this is just the translucent, it has no color. I wanna get right up in here to really brighten that inner corner. I'm just doing half my face for now to show you. Look at the difference. Now, you would not likely use this much powder if you have dry skin. But I need this much because I'll still get shiny in an hour. Now, all this baking and contouring was not a big thing, or it was not mainstream in cosmetics like it is now. There was not this whole contour category when you went into a department store. Honestly, I don't even remember very many bronzers being available. Maybe in the summertime, but not year round. But a brand that made bronzers pretty popular was NARS once again. This is the Laguna bronzer. This is a staple in many makeup artist kits for a reason. Now, yes, the formula of this has changed because they have removed talc. So many brands have removed talc from their products. So, like it or not, that's just the way it is these days. I think this bronzer is just as good as the older version. I love the color. I love how it just blends seamlessly onto my skin. I don't find it to be patchy. They also, I think they still make darker shades. There was Casino bronzer and maybe a lighter version of this. I don't know if they still have it, but I believe they did at one time. Kind of like how Benefit had the Hoola bronzer, and then they finally came out with Hoola Light and Hoola Caramel. And as I was saying, we didn't really contour back then. At least the everyday person did not contour. So I am not going to do any contouring. I just did a lot of bronzing. Now it's time for blush. Chanel blushes have always been some of my favorites. I worked at a Chanel counter from 1999 to 2001, I believe. And that was one of the best jobs in cosmetics that I have ever had, because I was there when the Glossomers, the lip glosses, launched, and I got to open every single tester and swatch it and play with it. Anytime a new collection came out, I had it all right there to play with, to put on people. It was so much fun. And of course I got a discount and I got gratis. And so my love affair with Chanel is many decades old. I'll be honest with you, I have never been a fan of their eyeshadows. No. But the blush is good. I can't decide if I want to use Rose Initiale or Quintessence. They're very similar. Rose Initiale is a little bit more pink. Quintessence is I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, is more peachy or appears more peachy. I'm going to do the rose. And no, I'm not going to use this. Personally, I'm glad we've moved on to real brushes. This is another product I have not used in a long time, and I'm wishing I did because look at how pretty that is. These blushes are so good for beginners because, as you can see, they just distribute a light amount of pigment. They're not scary pigmented, and they're very buildable. So if you do like a blushier look, like I do, you can achieve that with these. Pretty. I like to put a little bit on my nose for a sun-kissed look. All right, now for highlight, I had to go with MAC. Soft and Gentle. This highlight was everywhere back in the day. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if this was available in the 90s. I may have messed up with this one. But I also, again, don't think highlighters were that big of a category in the 80s and 90s. I still feel like this is an iconic product, so we're gonna go with it. But if you know of any highlighters that were popular in the 80s and 90s, let me know. Because even now, I really can't think of one. So I'm just popping that on the tops of my cheekbones, a little underneath the brow, bridge of the nose. It's so good. All right, for brows, most brands, well, actually all brands most likely, have reformulated their brow products many times over the years. So just because Bobbi Brown is another brand I worked for in the 90s when I first started in cosmetics, I realized I didn't have a Bobbi Brown product in this video, and I do consider it now to be an iconic legacy brand. So I'm gonna use this Bobbi Brown brow pencil. I love that it has a very fine point. I like to just brush my brows up and then lightly fill in the sparse areas. All right, going back to the eyes, I want to take some of the lighter brown in the bottom right corner of the palette and run that along the lower lashes. Then I'm going to take the shade in the upper right corner. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I was going to put that into the tear duct area. Wait, maybe it was that one that I used on the lid. And then this one. Yeah, I think I need to use this one. And I'm just packing that onto the inner corner and then slightly onto the lid. So for lips, I absolutely had to use MAC Spice lip pencil. I think it must be the most popular, most iconic lip liner of all time. And I'm just sort of blending that onto my lips. And then for gloss, gotta use a Juicy Tube. I used to collect these. This is the shade Magic Spell. So thick, so goopy, just like I remember. But if I remember correctly, they stayed on pretty well. And look at that shine, so pretty. Okay, this completes my full face of iconic brands from the 80s and 90s. I can 100% see myself doing this complete look again. Everything was great. I would recommend every single product I put on my face today, with the exception of the foundation. That remains to be seen. I'm going to insert my late in the day footage right now. Okay, it has been about 7 hours since I applied the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I filmed that video very early this morning. And I am impressed. I definitely like it better this go round than I have any other time, with the minimal skin prep. And then also, the shade does make a difference too. I don't know if it's because I got a better color match, even though I did need to bring it down my neck and chest. It was still a better overall match, I think. When you're in the wrong tone, if you're in the wrong tone of a foundation, it can throw everything off. And I just think the warmer foundations look better on me. I'm a neutral skin tone, but I just like the look of a warmer foundation. And so I think it's a combination of the lighter skin prep, slower application, and also the shade. That said, would I go out and purchase a full bottle over what I recommended in my alternate video, the Rare Beauty matte foundation or the Dior matte, the new version? No, I would not go and purchase this, being that I already have both of those and they are just as good, if not better. So I don't hate it. I know they had to reformulate because of the ingredient that's banned in the EU, but I don't know. They should have made a more similar foundation than something so different than the original Double Wear. So I stand by the fact that I don't think it's better or the same as the original, but I can understand why there are people who love it. And they are probably not the people who love the old formula. Anyway, yeah, it looks good. It's fine. I'm shiny, but no, I'm not going to go out and purchase a full bottle of this. So that'll do it for my full face of nostalgic 80s and 90s legacy brands. As always, I will have every product and shade name listed and linked down below in the description box, as well as tagged through YouTube Shopping if available. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Leave me a comment, share it with a friend. And if you are not already subscribed to my channel, I hope that you will consider doing so. I do upload new videos at least twice per week. You can also find more content from me over on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. My username is Risa Does Makeup on all platforms. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.